Why are some countries rich while others are poor? What causes economic gaps between nations? How is it possible that in one country, unemployment is extremely high and people struggle to find enough to eat, while in a neighboring country, life is prosperous and citizens enjoy a high standard of living? Our first instinct might be to think that it all comes down to natural resources like oil or gold. But if we look at the facts, that's not necessarily the case. Take Congo, for example. It has abundant natural resources: oil, gas, gold, and diamonds, yet it remains a poor country. Meanwhile, Switzerland has very few natural resources, but is one of the wealthiest countries in the world. If we consider wars as a potential factor, it seems that's not the case either. Take Israel and Syria, for example. Both are in conflict, yet Israel is considered a wealthy country while Syria is quite poor. Maybe the difference comes down to human capital, technology, or innovation. But again, in reality, we see a wealthy country like Singapore, which has strong human capital and technological advancements, while Ukraine, despite its strengths in these areas, still faces economic challenges. So, technology isn't the reason. If we think about cultural differences as the cause, it seems that they don't explain the wealth gaps either. There are countries with very similar cultures and histories, like South Korea and North Korea, yet one is very wealthy while the other is very poor. Geographic location or climate doesn't explain the disparities either. We can see significant differences between countries in the same geographic area. For example, wealthy communities along the southern border of the United States and poor communities on the northern border of Mexico. Same location, same climate, yet a huge difference in wealth. So, what does make the difference? The ones who discovered the mystery are James A. Robinson, Simon Johnson, and Daron Acemoglu, who later won the Nobel Prize in Economics for their work. Their explanation is pretty simple and quite logical. It's the institutions of a country that make the difference. And I'll explain why this really matters for wealth. By institutions, they mean the systems, organizations, and laws that make up a well-functioning country. For example, property rights, meaning that if something belongs to you, it's yours, and no one can take it from you, and a law enforcement system that ensures the law is upheld and no one takes what's yours, or else the law takes action. The rule of law and democracy, a legal system that applies fairly to everyone. In a corrupt country, none of this exists. This is so important because if, for example, an entrepreneur wants to start a business or has an idea for a startup and knows they can profit from it, they will start the business and the whole economy will benefit. There will be more jobs in the country, fewer people unemployed, and so on. But if the same entrepreneur knows that a criminal or someone close to the government can take their business, seize it, or demand protection money, they won't be motivated to start the business or invest. And over time, that traps the country in a cycle of poverty. In corrupt countries, only a small elite can benefit from the fruits of economic wealth. This stifles the creativity and initiatives of ordinary citizens. Economic growth will be slow, and over time, there will be a huge economic gap between the rich and the poor. That's it for today. Hope you learned something new. Leave me a comment and let me know if this explanation convinced you, and from which country you're watching us. Thank you, and stay tuned.